It's widely agreed upon that the Mario Kart franchise boasts some of the best music in any gaming series, due in large part to the catchy themes, creative harmonies, and intricate orchestrations. However, that's not to say that every piece of music from the game is at the same level. With the upcoming release of Switch 2 and with it Mario Kart 9, I wanted to give Mario Kart 8 Deluxe one final send-off by ranking every single piece of music found on the race course. This comes out to 95 tracks in total, as DS Wario Stadium and Waluigi Pinball share the same soundtrack. In fact, this task is so serious that I'm joined by my friend Ben, also known as 8-Bit Music Theory, to help me with this video and ensure I'm not being overly biased.
Hi, I'm 8-Bit Music Theory.
Naturally, it would be impossible for us to agree on the same rank for every piece, so for the ones where we disagreed, we averaged it out in our rankings. Before we get started, if you're a composer and you're actually interested in how Nintendo writes such incredible music, I've got a gift for you. It's my start-to-finish checklist on how to write music in the style of Disney and Nintendo, exploring how they capture those feelings of magic, wonder, adventure, and nostalgia. We'll dive into the core techniques these writers use to come up with pieces that stay in our minds and hearts for decades. It's completely free, and you can find it down below at the very top of the description, just as a thank you for watching this video today. With that said, let's start from the very bottom with the F tier, which brings up number 95, 3DS Rosalina's Ice World. There's gotta be a last place, and unfortunately, Rosalina's Ice World just doesn't cut it for me. The melody isn't very memorable, the bass line is kinda cool but doesn't really make much sense throughout, and the vibes are more creepy than mysterious and exciting, which is a shame.
Number 94, Electrodome. Man, I just hate this tune. The melody is saccharine, the synth tone is grating, it's too slow to be exciting and too fast to be relaxing. 94th place, see me after class.
Number 93, Wii Grumble Volcano. I'm a die-hard fan of Mario Kart Wii, but even in that game, this was the track I avoided most often. The track honestly wasn't that fun to play, but I think it was mainly the music that turned me off the most. It's got a cool melody and a nice groove, but it's just not as nearly as memorable and impactful as many others on this list.
Number 92, GameCube Dry Desert. While it does nail the desert atmosphere with its instrumentation, it just doesn't go anywhere. There's no change in groove or instrumentation or harmony or melodic ideas for the whole loop, which gets old very fast. Dry indeed.
Alright, moving on to the D tier. First up we have number 91, Amsterdam Drift. It's a catchy tune, but I think it's a little harmonically simplistic for me, as it relies on the A major chord for a long time before switching up the progression. I'm also not a huge fan of the choir. Great energy throughout though.
Number 90, Wee Mushroom Gorge. While there is something fun about the group flute melody, it's simply too piratey for my taste, and mixing pirate-y sounds with a chiptune synth and synth bass lacks a cohesive sound. I order this one to walk the plank.
Number 89, 3DS DK Jungle. It feels a little weird having this track so low because the groove is so good and the theme is a classic, but I think that's what makes it quite stale for me. It's just a classic DK theme rearranged again. Maybe it's also the screaming pillars at the end that spook me a little bit.
Number 88, GameCube DK Mountain. The jungle percussion groove is fun, but for such an exciting track, I'd expect the music to be a lot more bombastic. It feels like it's holding back way too much for the entire tune. I mean, this is supposed to be music to get shot out of a cannon to.
Number 87, 3DS Neo Bowser City. I've never been the biggest fan of synth or electronic-only pieces, with a few exceptions, but Neo Bowser City unfortunately falls into this camp. The mashup of Toad's Turnpike and Toad's Circuit is pretty cool, but the overall theme is pretty unmemorable for me.
Number 86, Mario Circuit. It's a fun groove, and I love the horn interjections, but this kind of track is just done better so many times on the Mario Kart 8 soundtrack. In Mario Kart Stadium, for example, it's the same music, just way better in every way.
Number 85, GCN Sherbetland. Sherbetland's theme simply wasn't one of my favorite snow themes. The original Vanilla Lake is up there for me, but this one never really resonated. The remake in Deluxe is solid, but I wouldn't necessarily consider it better than the original.
Number 84, 3DS Music Park. The melody's a little repetitive, and the vibe doesn't really land for me. Driving over a xylophone to play a chromatic scale is very fun, though.
Number 83, DS Wario Stadium and Waluigi Pinball. The remix here definitely goes hard, but I actually prefer the original DS version. There's an element of nostalgia there, I'm sure, but I feel like Deluxe's version is just a little too over the top with its electronics and energy. Not a bad remake all the same.
Number 82, GBA Ribbon Road. Surf rock is a fun approach to a Mario Kart track, and this arrangement has completely transformed the original GBA version into something way more fun. That said, I don't know why this small child's room is given the surf rock treatment. Maybe when this kid's done playing with blocks, he likes catching waves.
Number 81, N64 Calamari Desert. This tune is really quite charming, and I especially like the B section with the flute and chord progression. The main issue is that it takes so long to get there, and overall it's quite simple in nature. Still a really cute tune nonetheless.
Number 80, Wee Moo Moo Meadows. I love the foot stomping, fiddle shredding vibe, and the players delivered great performances, but compositionally it feels like the melody couldn't figure out where to go next, so it just stopped all of a sudden. Disappointing end to a fun and unique tune.
Number 79, DS Mario Circuit. I quite enjoy this remake actually. The horns do a great job of capturing the soul of the original, while the synths keep it modern and fresh. However, I'm not a big fan of the tune itself, it just feels a little bland and soulless to me compared to the other circuit themes. Just personal taste.
Number 78, GBA Sky Garden. Feel good vibes, but a little cheesy for my taste. There's no tension to propel the music forward.
Number 77, Thwomp Ruins. This is one of those tunes that has a super groovy rhythm and feel, but I just can't remember the melody until much later in the piece. I love that A major section near the end, but otherwise, it takes a long time to get there, and it just doesn't feel like there's that much happening musically until that point. Now we move on to the C tier, starting off with...
Number 76, Wii DK Summit. I usually don't go for electronic music, but this tune has so much energy and manages to slip some pretty clever chromatic harmony and key changes underneath a really positive and approachable melody. It does kind of feel more like a Sonic tune than a Donkey Kong one, though.
Number 75, Wii Koopa Cape. I'm a sucker for the Wii version of this track, and unfortunately the remake doesn't do it justice in my opinion. The piece feels overcompressed, the river and underwater variations are a little bit cheesy, and just loses the charm of the original for me a little bit, but it's still Koopa Cape.
Number 74, Wii Rainbow Road. This one clearly borrows from previous Rainbow Road music to get the right atmosphere, but it doesn't really do anything beyond that to set itself apart. Very fun, but a little predictable.
Number 73, N64 Toad's Turnpike. So this is more of a comforting track more than anything. Whereas Neo Bowser City felt chaotic, this one puts me a little bit more at ease, which I actually enjoy. I just feel that similar to the course itself, the music really only has one motivic idea before the chromatic loop point at the end, so while I wish I could rank it higher, I have to place it here.
Number 72, London Loop. The music for these Mario Kart Tour courses always tries to evoke the place that they're based on, of course, and at first I was taken aback by the music's rock approach rather than something that sounds like God Save the Queen. But then I realized rock is definitely England's biggest musical export, so very fitting.
Number 71, SNES Mario Circuit 3. Although I never played Super Mario Kart, I've always appreciated the circuit theme, and this remake is pretty close to the original. However, that is its main downfall. They didn't really do anything too unique with this remake, except for the drums, and of course we've heard it countless times before in other games.
Number 70, Ninja Hideaway. Chiptune and traditional Japanese music is such a fun combination. The groove in this tune is infectious, the mix of genres is unique, there's a big slap bass break, there's a lot to love, but the melody is a little one note. You probably won't think about this tune at all once the race is over.
Number 69, SNES Bowser's Castle. Now, the remake of this piece is amazing. I was never attached to the original, but the heavy rock elements here really lift it up to a higher tier, and while it's still not my favorite tune, I think it got the facelift it really deserved.
Number 68, Bowser's Castle. The heavy metal big band aesthetic is not something I've really heard before or since this track, and while there is a lot of cool stuff going on, this one feels a bit like a failed experiment to me. Big band music and heavy metal as genres are just going for such completely opposite effects that together it doesn't totally work.
Number 67, Vancouver Velocity. This is a solid track. The remake is excellent, the production quality is clean, and the instrumentation is perfectly balanced. I'm just not the biggest fan of the theme itself. It feels a little bit dark and moody for my taste, which I guess makes sense for the setting of the course, but it almost lulls me to sleep.
Number 66, N64 Choco Mountain. The melody to this one is simple in the most charming way, but the thing I like best about this track is all of the little details filling in the melody, like the claps in the space at the end of the phrase and the slide guitar fills. And when the banjo kicks in, yeehaw!
Number 65, 3DS Rainbow Road. This piece is up here solely for the fact that it contains the N64 Rainbow Road theme. I personally prefer the original 3DS version, as I feel this one is a little too heavy-handed on the instrumentation and does lose some of the calm and charm of the original.
Number 64, Sky High Sunday. This groove does not let up. The soaring string melody high above the relentless bass and drums evokes the image of a skyscraper towering above a busy city street. Except all made of ice cream.
Number 63, Bone Dry Dunes. I think many people expected this track to be at the very bottom, but I actually really like this piece. It's catchy, it's got great rhythm, and it's fun to sing. The main thing holding it back is that there are other pieces I simply enjoy more.
Number 62, Twisted Mansion. They pulled out all of the spooky music tropes for this one. Theremin melody, spooky wailing vocals, the tonic chord alternating having the fifth and flat fifth. It all just feels so right.
Number 61, 3DS Rock Mountain. I've always loved how they went with rocky music to match the name of the course. It definitely hits hard and the theme is catchy as always. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. There's just some other themes I enjoy more coming up.
Number 60, GameCube Waluigi Stadium. This one sounds a little generic, but it's also just so fun. The trading melody between the high and low saxes and then having them come together to harmonize the end of each section is a great touch.
Number 59, Piranha Plant Cove. This piece is highly underrated in my opinion. I really enjoy the groove and I love the modulation at the halfway point. The melody is a tad chaotic, but that's all part of the charm.
Number 58, LA Laps. This melody is trying to figure out how many different ways it can use the same 4-note figure, and it never feels like it's running out of ideas. This 4-note figure's chromatic passing tone and the cool chromatic cadences throughout make this track feel like it's got a real attitude.
Number 57, GBA Sunset Wilds. The remake really sold it for me. I was never really the biggest fan of the original, but the Western style instrumentation, including the trumpet and the fiddle, gave it the deluxe treatment it deserved.
Number 56, Water Park. Cool tropical vibes with a groove that straddles the line between Latin and jazz fusion perfectly. It somehow feels relaxing and has drive all at once. Add in the blaring horn section and this one certainly makes a splash.
Number 55, GBA Boo Lake. I never really enjoyed the original, but man, do these drums in the remake hit hard. The charm and nostalgia of the original is still there, but the percussion really makes you want to race and fills you with adrenaline. Alright, moving on to the B tier. Some good stuff coming up, starting with...
Number 54, GameCube Yoshi Circuit. This is one of those tracks that gets stuck in my head out of the blue even after not playing the game for forever. It feels like a quintessential Mario Kart track.
Number 53, Mute City. You can't really go wrong with Captain Falcon. I remember this theme originally from Super Smash Bros. Melee, and it's been nostalgic for me ever since. However, I never played F-Zero, so I don't unfortunately have much of an attachment to the series.
Number 52, Tokyo Blur. I love the chord melody in the piano. It's reminiscent of the playing of Minoru Mukaya, keyboardist of 80s Japanese jazz fusion giants Cassiopeia. The way some of the phrase lengths are shortened from your regular 8 bars to 7 bars means the music dovetails beautifully into each new section before you've even realized you're there.
Number 51, N64 Yoshi Valley. Another track which was alright in the original but absolutely revamped for Deluxe. I love the fiddle, the western nature of the instrumentation, and just the overall vibe. The little fiddle improv at the end of the B section makes me smile every time.
Number 50, 3DS Toad Circuit. This one's got a great dynamic range, from the groovy organ melody to the full screaming horn section. It's a simple melody, but it's inviting and arranged splendidly.
Number 49, GBA Cheeseland. So this is another seemingly underrated tune. Again, I'm not a big fan of the original, but the drums and sax really elevate this rendition to new heights. I think they reworked the structure to be more concise and snappy as well, so I really appreciate that. Great tune.
Number 48, N64 Royal Raceway. Is it repetitive? Yes. Are there other tracks that sound like it? Yes. Can you argue with how hard your head bobs while it's playing? No.
Number 47, GBA Snowland. I think Deluxe's version made this an instant classic. The Disney-like opening with the flute runs, the straight-ahead piano accordion melody, and the Christmassy vibe give it a fun, whimsical feel which accompanies the track beautifully.
Number 46, Sydney Sprint. I really like the disco vibes on this, and the B section ripping sax melody has some great chord changes. My only complaint is the length. It's a short tune that loops quick, and they could have leaned even harder into the 80s rippin' sax solo vibes.
Number 45, Wii Moonview Highway. If the city version of this tune didn't exist, it would probably be way down low on this list. I love how this rendition added more 2-5-1s to the chord changes, and it still maintains the chaotic but nostalgic feel from the original. So cool to hear it with live instrumentation this time around.
Number 44, Toad Harbor. This track is written around two pretty distant keys, E major and G major, and the number of ways it finds to weave back and forth between these two keys that sound totally effortless is really impressive.
Number 43, Wii Daisy Circuit. Again, I was brought up on the Wii, and while I always thought the original tune was okay, the Deluxe remake has really grown on me over time. The live flute at the beginning creates a magical feel, while the strings near the end create a sense of longing and a return of the main theme, which I love.
Number 42, Wii Maple Treeway. This one has such a cool aesthetic. It's woodsy yet groovy, with some surprisingly dark harmonic turns mellowing the piece out. Despite the reputation of both being annoying instruments, accordion and soprano sax turn out to be a nice combination.
Number 41, Merry Mountain. Although I never played Tour, I do love Christmas, and while the melody wasn't instantly catchy for me, it's grown on me ever since hearing the Deluxe version for the first time. I love the sleigh bells, the energy and power behind the arrangement, and it gets me in the mood to do some serious skiing.
Number 40, Wii Wario's Goldmine. The hick car chase vibes are immaculate. Anything with a rippin' fast banjo part is gonna get a pass from me, but I also appreciate the moves this piece takes to separate itself from being just another generic bluegrass-inspired Mario Kart track.
Number 39, DS Shroom Ridge. In a way, I'm thankful that this track flies under the radar for the most part, so that I can have more of this majestic music for myself. My favorite section in this piece is the B section, where that killer hook comes in and really makes the tune for me. I'm honestly surprised this piece wasn't used for more than one track in DS, but hey, given it was given even more juice in Deluxe, I can't complain.
Number 38, Big Blue. As far as I'm concerned, this is the definitive version of this piece. The trading solos between the sax and guitar are blazing hot. The drive and attitude are there. This arrangement just checks every box and more for what you want Big Blue to sound like.
Number 37, 3DS Parada Plant Slide. Another underrated track in my opinion. I love how the synth nature of the Parada Plant singing work perfectly with the brass band interjections, plus the modulation from G major to B flat major is a welcome and refreshing change, giving us a new color to appreciate before the Mario Underground theme loops us back to the beginning. I've loved this tune since the beginning.
Number 36, Rainbow Road. The synth arpeggio that rips through the whole thing is a great way to distinguish this Rainbow Road from the others. This one's in space. Or wait, were the other ones in space? They kind of were, right? But this one is, obviously in space. There's a space station, and some great key changes, too.
Number 35, DS Cheep Cheep Beach. So I hope 8-Bit isn't too mad at me for this one, but I think this remake is just perfect. They capture the beach feel to a T, and it really makes me wish this course and setting existed in real life. The Caribbean elements, strings, and soothing rhythm all culminate to create a beautiful reimagination.
Number 34, GameCube Daisy Cruiser. Sometimes a melody just takes a hold of you and you don't know why. Daisy Cruiser takes a feel-good tropical tune and elevates it with a beautiful accompanying string arrangement, turning a pleasure cruise into something that sounds a little more poignant.
Number 33, New York Minute. I didn't think I'd like this one as much as I do, but the Dixieland vibe is such a sweet change of pace compared to most of the other tracks on this list. It's not necessarily the most energetic arrangement out there, but I think it complements the stage beautifully, and the live rendition of the tour version really completes the piece, making it a pleasure to listen to.
Number 32, Singapore Speedway. This track goes So hard. The way the syncopated piano break builds up into the fist-pumping melody feels great every single time, and the switch to traditional Chinese instrument sounds when driving through the Chinatown part of the track is such a nice touch.
Number 31, GBA Riverside Park. This is another banger that took time to grow on me. I honestly never even heard this tune until the remake came out, as I never played Super Circuit. However, the clean percussion, driving groove, and trombone sax combo never failed to get me bobbing my head, and I just love the attitude injected into the performance here. Definitely deserving of this spot.
Number 30, Sweet Sweet Canyon. More than previous entries, Mario Kart 8 isn't afraid to break away from driving funk grooves and try out different styles, and this early jazz swing feel and trading violin and accordion melody stand out from the rest of the soundtrack as a particularly sweet approach.
Number 29, Madrid Drive. So I wish I could put this higher, but either way, it's a super simple and catchy melody wrapped up in a chaotic arrangement, which in this case I love. The flamenco guitar and castanets give us a touch of Spain, while the B section with the claps and stomps add life and energy. I especially love the extended authentic cadence at the loop point, holding the E dominant for a while before we get the return of the tonic. So satisfying.
Number 28, Baby Park. It's a perfect musical representation of the track it's scoring. It's the simplest track in the game by far, but the longer the race goes on and the more the leading racers lap and mix in with the last place racers, the more chaotic everything gets. This is mirrored perfectly by the extremely simple music rising in tempo and key throughout the race until it's completely off the rails. Hilarious.
Number 27, Rome Avanti. Similar to Madrid Drive, this one's on loop in my playlist. It did take some time to grow on me, but now that I've memorized the melody, it's super catchy and I love the chord changes underneath. It is on the slightly chaotic side overall, so if it was a tad simpler, it might be even higher up on this list. All the same, it's a wonderful piece and arrangement.
Number 26, Dragon Driftway. There's some surprisingly effective Chinese and funk musical fusion happening here, with the erhu melody ripping down the blues scale for the A sections and more traditional fourth-based shapes for the B sections. The blazing guitar fills are the icing on the cake.
That leaves us with 25 tracks, and kicking off the A tier is number 25, Wee Coconut Mall. If they had maintained the original elements a little bit more, this would likely be even higher up on the list. However, it is still Coconut Mall. The only thing I don't really like is how it feels a tad overcompressed, and the drums are a little bit tinny to my ears. I do love the sax solo, and this remake contains the charm of the original.
Number 24, N64 Rainbow Road. It feels wrong to have this track so low on the list, but that's just a testament to how many great tunes there still are to cover from the game. Do I need to say anything about the most iconic piece of Mario Kart music in history?
Number 23, Sunshine Airport. I don't know how they did it, but this track is just so unique and yet works so well with this course. It's up there for its creativity, catchiness, and also its compatibility with the theming, which can't be overstated. The synthetic approach really works well with the technology of airplanes and machines shown throughout the racetrack.
Number 22, Cloud Top Cruise. Okay, using Super Mario Galaxy's best melody almost feels like cheating, but of course, this is one of the best tracks in the game. The driving acoustic guitar works wonderfully with the strings and trumpet melody, and the switch to electric guitar when driving through the thundercloud is such a great moment.
Number 21, Hyrule Circuit. So the only Zelda-themed course gets this spot because the arrangement and tune are incredible. I love the electric guitars, the hard-hitting drums, and the structure of this piece. The course itself is beautiful as well, so it really adds to the playing experience.
Number 20, GBA Mario Circuit. To me, this is the track that sounds the most Mario Kart-y in the whole game. It's got groove, bouncy, syncopated horn parts, funky guitar strumming, but overall it's just relentlessly positive.
Number 19, Excite Bike Arena. Honestly, this piece would probably be a lot lower down if it wasn't for that modulation near the end. I just love how we go from C to E major, which is another demonstration of going to a key a third away. It really changes up the color and adds additional energy, which we subconsciously feel and creates a better listening and playing experience.
Number 18, Wild Woods. The only odd meter track in the game and a testament to the versatility of the oboe, Wild Woods also is a great example of melodic development, taking the initial rhythmic figure presented in its one-bar intro and exploring different melodic implications of that figure as it goes.
Number 17, Bangkok Rush. This is another tune that's grown on me. The live band treatment really does a lot of heavy lifting on this one, really allowing the chord changes and solo improvisations to come through. Lots of creativity bursting through the seams.
Number 16, Shy Guy Falls. I love a track that goes all in on a theme, and the sound of the Wild West is in full force here. There's a couple of great key changes and really fun details, like the Shy Guys and the chorus chanting along with the music, and the little tambourine drop in the middle of the melody.
Number 15, DS Peach Gardens. So in terms of the tune itself, I actually prefer Delfino Square from Mario Kart DS, but the deluxe version really brought this piece into the light. The nature of the drums, strings, and accordion all give us that French feel, which fits perfectly with the theming of this course.
Number 14, Paris Promenade. This is the only waltz in a Mario Kart game, as far as I'm aware, and it just nails the Parisian atmosphere while also presenting a fantastic melody. Escargot? More like this cargo.
Number 13, Mario Kart Stadium. For an opening track, this piece does the job perfectly. It introduces Mario Kart through a grand opening with the band, then the brass carry the melody while the electric guitars accompany underneath. It sets the tone for the rest of the soundtrack beautifully, and that's no easy feat.
Number 12, Animal Crossing. Writing 4 whole arrangements for one track is so high effort that they wouldn't have to be great arrangements for it to be impressive, and yet they are all so good that I don't know which one to talk about. They each manage to capture the lighthearted atmosphere of the Animal Crossing games while getting at the touching aspects of the series' music as well. Outstanding.
Number 11, DS TikTok Clock. So this remake is just perfect. It feels way more punchy and intentional than the original, juicing up the electronic clock sounds and integrating them beautifully into the arrangement. It just feels so much more epic and cinematic than the DS.
Number 10, Super Nintendo Donut Plains 3. This is one of my personal favorites. It's goofy and fun and just puts a smile on my face the second it starts playing. And busting out those bebop lines at the end really seals the deal that this is a top 10 track for me.
Number 9, Berlin Byways. So if it were up to me, this would be up in S tier, but still, the blend of techno and brass here is just so funny and has grown on me immensely over time. Aside from the melody, my favorite part of this tune is probably the trombone stabs at the end, giving us that military feel before the loop point transitions us perfectly back to the beginning. Definitely on loop every day.
Number 8, Ice Ice Outpost. This track goes hard right from the very first notes. It's got that glassy sound that a lot of winter levels have, but fused in with a really energetic and ambitious J-pop inspired piece. Starting the piece with pretty static harmony makes the classic J-pop turnarounds in the B section feel that much more effective.
Number 7, Yoshi's Island. Okay, so this is another remake that I just find perfect. I did do a separate video breaking down this track on its own, which shows how much I like it. The violin melody transitioning to the big band is a great decision, the voicings and the horns are superb, and the mix is smooth like butter. Nothing else to say except...
Number 6, Athens Dash. The build-up from the stripped-down violin melody at the beginning into a full orchestra is so gradual and so satisfying. The melody is so heroic and strong that it feels almost like a waste to use it for a Mario Kart race. I bet you could hang a whole adventure game soundtrack around this theme.
Number 5, Dolphin Shoals. So I imagine many of us are tired of hearing this tune by now, but I still love Dolphin Shoals. The sax fits the chaos of the whirlpool beautifully, and the drums and percussion all add to that level of chaos and energy you just don't find in many of these other tracks. If this version could play during the entire level and not just in the last section of this course, that would be something. And now we finally come to S tier, the absolute greatest tunes in our minds. Kicking us off, we have...
Number 4, Super Nintendo Rainbow Road. The bass line sliding up to that 9th, the juddering chord stabs, the cheeky melody plinked out above the super busy rhythm section, and then the move to the more authentic and emotional bridge. This remade version of the track barely strays at all from how the original sounded, and with good reason. This is a masterpiece.
Number 3, Super Bell Subway. So this decision wasn't too difficult, as I really love the above ground version of this tune. I just love the playfulness and French feel the above ground version provides, and it sounds nostalgic upon the first listen. Just a little bit of magic captured here that reminds me of classic Disney scores.
Playfulness is the perfect word to describe this track. This would be in the top 10 if it were just the above ground track, but adding in a slap bass version of the classic Mario underground music when you move underground is so fun and clever that it propels this track into the top 3. Number 2, Squeaky Clean Sprint.
So I'd probably put this at number 1 personally, but number 2 will have to do. Both 8-Bit and I are suckers for great jazz arrangements and intricate chord changes and modulations, and this tune delivers on all fronts. Fun fact, this tune actually modulates twice, starting at F major before going to E flat major in the B section, and finally settling on D major in the C section before we loop back to the top. The mix is also exceptionally clean, delivering on its name.
The melody to this tune is gorgeous, with a sense of melancholy that's rare for a Mario Kart track. This melody mixes with the upbeat rhythm of the arrangement to give the piece a depth that solidifies its place at almost the top of the list. Number 1, Mount Wario. The peak of this soundtrack has to be Mount Wario. It's such an ambitious arrangement, dynamically moving to each new section as you move through the racetrack, and managing to do so in a way that sounds perfectly natural in the game. This allows the music to score each part of the race with precision, leading up to a big climactic melody right as the finish line comes into view, giving each race down Mount Wario an electrically satisfying conclusion. It's such a great track that I did a whole video going in depth on this course's music a few years ago.
What else is there to say? We've got a full big band treatment, a dynamically moving piece that changes as we progress through the course, a solo violin shivering as we make our way through the trees, and cheering crowds and fanfares as we make our way down the ski slope. What else could we ask for? And that's all 95 tracks ranked according to their music. That was a ton of fun, and big thanks to 8-Bit for joining us here.
Thanks, Chris, and thank you all for watching.
Be sure to check out Ben's channel, by the way. He regularly puts out videos that analyze video game music in a very digestible, entertaining way, and I'd highly recommend you subscribing to him if you're into that sort of thing. Anyway, that begs the question, what sort of music can we expect from Mario Kart 9, aka Mario Kart World? Will it be jazz band, rock and metal, chiptune and electronics? If I had to put my money on anything based on the reveal trailers, it seems like they're leaning even harder into the acoustic side of things, with full-blown live arrangements and ethnic instruments to really evoke the settings of these beautiful courses. Let us know down below in the comments if you're excited to hear the full soundtrack. And of course, if you're a composer yourself and want to try your hand at writing in this style, don't forget you can download my guide on how to write music in the style of Disney and Nintendo down below in the description, 100% free as a gift for checking out this video today. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you on the other side when Mario Kart World drops.